There is a secret echo in the silence between your thoughts, a whisper older than language, more intimate than your breath. It lives in the folds of perception, in the tension between presence and illusion. If you quiet your mind now, you may begin to hear it, the subtle pulse of entanglement calling you back into the center of your being. What we call reality is not a stable floor beneath our feet. It is a shifting mirror, fragmented by attention, reconstructed by belief. You were taught to navigate this mirror by logic, by separation, by the illusion that you are here and everything else is there. But this division, this fracture, is the very thing that keeps you from unlocking the immense reservoir of hidden energy within you. Quantum entanglement is not a phenomenon reserved for particles in laboratories. It is the architecture of your subconscious, the thread through which your emotions, your memories, your intentions, all ripple through space and time without boundaries. When you master this principle, not just intellectually, but vibrationally, you begin to see your thoughts are not contained. Your presence is not local. You are a node in a radiant web of connection that responds instantly to your inner frequency. Pause for a moment. Breathe without effort. Do you feel that slight shift in the air around you? That's not imagination. That's alignment beginning. When the subconscious recognizes the entangled nature of all experience, it stops resisting and starts remembering. Your forgotten potentials, your dormant intuitions, your unseen creativity, they stir, but they will not rise through force. They require resonance. You must become still enough to vibrate with the deeper pattern beneath appearance. You must surrender the story of the separate self and lean into the mystery, not to explain it, but to feel it. This is not magic, it is remembrance. It is physics meeting consciousness in the temple of your own awareness. So listen closely now, not with your ears, but with the whole field of your attention. Something ancient is beginning to move inside you. If these words have already touched your soul, subscribe to the channel and share in the comments. What vibration are you feeling inside right now? Now let's continue. There is a hidden code beneath everything you see, not written in letters or numbers, but in waves, in rhythms, in frequencies. The world you experience is not solid. It is a projection of perception, decoded by your nervous system, filtered through the veils of memory, belief, and attention. This code is not passive, it responds, and more than that, it obeys. Every emotion you feel sends a signal. Every thought you repeat impresses itself onto this subtle matrix. And the subconscious, like a deep ocean beneath the surface of your waking mind, is constantly listening. It absorbs not just what you consciously intend, but what you unconsciously expect. This is why change rarely comes from willpower alone, because the surface cannot override the current running beneath it. Quantum entanglement teaches us that separation is an illusion of observation. At a fundamental level, everything is already connected. Everything is already listening to everything else. When you align your subconscious with this truth, your energy field begins to synchronize with outcomes that were previously invisible to you. This isn't about controlling reality, it's about harmonizing with it. When your inner state resonates with clarity, gratitude, openness, reality bends, not because you forced it, but because you matched the code. And the code always reflects coherence. But coherence can only emerge when the noise subsides. You must begin by noticing the static within, the doubts, the self-negations, the unconscious loops of fear and lack. These are distortions in your field. Not faults, not failures, simply echoes of old programming, asking to be seen, felt, and released. To unlock your hidden energy, you must first reclaim your attention. You must become aware of where your mind is leaking power through judgments, attachments, regrets, and unconscious tension. The moment you notice, you begin to reprogram. Not with words, but with presence. Presence is the true command. Close your eyes now, even just for a breath. Ask yourself, what am I entangled with right now? Feel the answer, not in your thoughts, but in your body. It will speak, it always does. That is the beginning of mastery. Energy speaks long before words ever arrive. It moves through you, not as something you possess, but as something you are. Before you think, before you act, before you even choose, there is vibration. And this vibration is your true language. Your subconscious mind does not understand logic in the way the conscious mind does. It listens to sensation, to repetition, to emotion. It responds to what is felt, not what is said. That's why affirmations spoken without belief remain hollow. But when your vibration aligns with your intention, then, and only then, does reality shift in obedience. The entangled field that binds all things is not passive. It is aware. It is sensitive to coherence. And coherence begins within you, not when you are perfect, but when you are honest. To be aligned is not to be without flaws, but to be without masks. The universe cannot respond to a false signal. To unlock the hidden energy within you, begin by learning the emotional tone of your inner world. Feel your body right now. Where is it relaxed? Where is it tense? What is being held that no longer needs to be protected? The energy you seek is not elsewhere. It is trapped in the places where you have not yet looked with love. This is not about self-improvement. It is about self-remembrance. You are not broken. You are entangled in patterns of forgetting. But the remembering begins each time you pause and bring attention to your breath, to your heart, to the subtle field around you. The greatest lie is that you must do more to become more. In truth, you must shed. You must become light enough to feel the truth already present. And that truth is this: your energy is always creating, always attracting, always communicating. The question is, are you conscious of the message being sent? Sit with that. Listen not with urgency, but with devotion. Because when you truly begin to hear your own vibration, you will never again outsource your power. You will speak the language of energy. Not fluently, perhaps, but authentically. And that is what the universe understands. There is a silent place within you that has never changed. It has watched your entire life unfold, not with judgment, but with stillness. This is the observer, not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your name or story, but the awareness behind it all. And it is here, in this quiet seat of perception, that quantum entanglement becomes a living truth. To access your hidden energy, you must return to this inner witness, because from this vantage point, reality softens, time unravels, and you begin to sense the deeper mechanics of consciousness, how your attention shapes the world around you, not through effort, but through observation. Physics has already revealed what the mystics have always known. The act of observing changes the observed. You are not separate from what you perceive. You are in constant relationship with it, and the deeper your presence, the more directly you influence what unfolds. But this power is not wielded through control. It flows through surrender. The observer does not grasp. It sees, it allows, it accepts. And this acceptance is not passive, it is magnetic. When you witness yourself without resistance, your field becomes more transparent, and transparency is power, not because it dominates, but because it vibrates in harmony with truth. Let go now, even if just for a moment, of trying to fix yourself. Shift instead into the one who watches, the breath rising and falling, the thought passing through, the emotion swelling, then dissolving. Who is it that sees all this? that seeing is where transformation begins. When you rest in the observer, you untangle from the drama. You begin to sense the deeper blueprint of reality, that everything arises from within. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. And as this truth settles, you will notice a quiet energy waking inside you. It's not loud, it doesn't shout, but it is steady, alive, unafraid. It has always been there, waiting for you to notice, not with your mind, but with your presence. You are not here to control life. You are here to witness it, fully, consciously, and in doing so, shape it from the inside out. Your subconscious is not chaos. It is architecture, subtle, precise, and sacred. Every memory etched within you, every belief you've inherited or constructed, forms the blueprint of your inner space. And this space is not hidden in the shadows of your mind. It is projected outward into the fabric of your reality. To understand quantum entanglement is to realize that there is no true separation between inside and outside. Your subconscious architecture is entangled with the external world. What appears as chance, coincidence, or luck is often the echo of internal structures reverberating across dimensions of perception. You walk through the world not as a passive participant, but as an emitter, broadcasting the frequencies encoded in your subconscious temple. When this temple is cluttered with unresolved pain, guilt, or inherited fear, your signal becomes fractured. But when it is purified through awareness, forgiveness, and intention, it becomes a beacon. That beacon calls forth experiences that match its resonance. So ask yourself now, what does the structure of my inner space look like? Is it a sanctuary or a maze? Does it reflect truth or inherited illusions? This is not a mental question, it is a felt inquiry. Your body knows, your breath knows, your subtle field knows. To reconstruct this inner architecture is not to destroy what was, but to reimagine it through presence. Begin by noticing what stories you keep repeating. Notice which parts of yourself you exile. Each rejected aspect holds a key, a doorway back to wholeness. The energy you seek to unlock is not missing. It is buried beneath patterns that once served you, but no longer fit your evolution. And those patterns are malleable. With conscious observation, emotional honesty, and vibrational alignment, they begin to shift. Walls become windows, mazes become maps. You do not need to escape yourself to find power. You need only to turn inward with reverence, like entering a sacred temple, not to worship, but to remember. This space within you is not empty. It is encoded, and when you approach it with stillness, the code begins to reveal itself. And in that revelation, energy awakens. There are no accidents, only alignments. What you call coincidence is the visible thread of an invisible design, a design woven by your intent, your attention, and your vibration. Synchronicity is not random. It is the language of the quantum field responding to the architecture of your subconscious. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in coherence, the entangled field begins to echo your inner state. People appear. Doors open, messages arrive, not because fate decided, but because your frequency summoned them. This is the hidden art of life, not to control events, but to recognize them. To read the signs, not with superstition, but with presence. The more awake you are, the more the universe reveals its mirrors, and each synchronicity is a mirror, reflecting your belief, your openness, your direction. But synchronicity only flows when resistance fades. When you are entangled in fear, urgency, or doubt, the web constricts. The signals get distorted. You mistake noise for guidance. So the first step to aligning with synchronicity is relaxation. You must release the need to force the path. The path is already forming beneath your feet, but you must walk with awareness to see it. Close your eyes, breathe, and recall a moment when something aligned so perfectly it felt surreal. That sensation, that subtle awe, is your compass. It points to the deeper intelligence guiding your journey, not from above, but from within. The subconscious communicates through symbols, dreams, impulses, and repetition. Pay attention to what repeats in your life. The names, the numbers, the feelings. These are not trivial, they are codes, and your conscious recognition of them activates deeper layers of guidance. You are always sending signals. You are always being responded to. The question is, are you listening? Begin to walk your day as if every moment is speaking to you, not in words, but in events, moods, textures. This is not fantasy, it is attunement. And the more you attune, the more the hidden energy within you begins to organize your outer world. Not by chance, by design. You're not lost. You are being led by the very vibration you carry. Time is not linear. It is elastic, subjective, and woven into the way you observe. The future does not wait ahead of you. It vibrates within you, latent, shaped by your present state. And the past is not fixed. It is rewritten each time you remember it, each time you feel it differently. Time, like reality, is a mirror held in place by belief. To master quantum entanglement, you must first loosen your grip on time, because the moment you believe you are bound by it, you forget your creative power. The subconscious does not experience time the way your conscious mind does. It exists in a constant now, absorbing every repetition as truth, regardless of whether it happened yesterday or a decade ago. This is why healing can happen in an instant, why a sudden realization can dissolve years of pain. When you shift your inner vibration, you not only affect the future, you rewire your relationship to the past. You begin to disentangle from identity structures that no longer serve your becoming. Breathe into this. What if nothing is truly behind you? What if the energy of every experience still lives within your field, waiting not to be repressed, but to be reintegrated? This is not a burden, it is potential, because when you stop resisting the past, it stops repeating. And when you stop fearing the future, it begins responding with greater clarity. Time bends to presence. The more anchored you are in this moment, not as a concept but as a felt state, the more porous time becomes. Insights emerge, serendipities cluster, growth accelerates. You become less of a traveler through time and more of a tuner of timelines. You don't need to escape the clock. You need to step into the timeless now that always exists beneath your story. In that now, everything becomes accessible. Clarity, peace, inspiration, energy. The keys were never locked in the future. They are vibrating here, waiting to be claimed through stillness. Let go of chasing, let go of waiting. Return to the present again and again until it blooms into eternity. Trust is not blind belief. It is a frequency, a subtle current that runs through your nervous system, your breath, your decisions. When you attune to trust, you realign your entire field with the intelligence of the quantum. And that intelligence does not operate by control. It moves through surrender. The subconscious mind, when immersed in fear, creates loops of defense. It tightens. It anticipates harm. It vibrates with separation. But when you begin to trust, not as a thought but as a felt truth, the field around you softens. It becomes receptive, responsive. It begins to listen to your soul rather than your survival patterns. You were taught to earn safety through vigilance, but true safety comes from coherence. When your inner state vibrates with trust, the quantum field rearranges itself to support your path, not because it favors you, but because you've stopped resisting it. Trust does not mean you will never be hurt. It means you will no longer be governed by the fear of hurt. You move differently. You speak from the center. You listen with your whole being. And that listening connects you to guidance that is always available, but only audible in stillness. What would happen if you trusted your life exactly as it is? not passively, but deeply, as though everything unfolding were part of a larger harmony you cannot yet fully see. That is the posture of awakening. It does not demand answers, it listens for alignment. Each time you choose trust, you activate dormant energy within you. Energy once trapped in anxiety begins to flow toward creation. Imagination sharpens, intuition quickens, the veil between thought and manifestation thins. Pause now. Feel into the places within you that are tense. Ask them gently, what would trust feel like here? Don't force the answer. Let it arrive like warmth, like breath. That is the shift, and it is more powerful than any external solution. Trust is not naive, it is magnetic. It is the bridge between your subconscious patterns and the intelligence of the cosmos. And once you vibrate with trust, you no longer seek proof, because life itself begins to prove you right. Stillness is not the absence of motion, it is the presence of depth. Beneath the surface noise of thought, beyond the flicker of emotion, there is a silent chamber within you where energy regenerates. This stillness is not passive, it is a portal. And when you enter it consciously, the field around you begins to shift. Your hidden energy does not arise through effort, it awakens through receptivity. The more you slow down internally, the more you begin to notice the subtle architecture of your consciousness. Breaths become messages, sensations become codes, and within that awareness, dormant aspects of yourself begin to stir. In this silence, the subconscious reorganizes. It listens, it recalibrates. When you sit in stillness, not to escape but to merge, your system naturally begins to align with what is true. You stop projecting, you start receiving, and this receptivity is not weakness, it is power in its most refined form. Most people try to awaken by doing more, by consuming more, by pushing harder. But true awakening often requires subtraction, the peeling away of noise, distraction, and false urgency. You do not need to chase truth. You need to become quiet enough to remember it. Even now, if you let your awareness drop inward, into your belly, into your chest, into your bones, you may feel something stirring, a hum, a presence, a quiet expansion. That is the edge of activation. Not sparked by stimulation, but by stillness met with presence. You are not here to fix yourself. You are here to become aware of the you that was never broken. The version of you that has been patiently waiting beneath the clutter of reaction and performance. And in the stillness that self speaks, not in language but in vibration. The energy you seek is not in the next idea. It is in the pause between ideas, in the space between breaths, in the infinite that lives behind your eyes. Return to stillness often, not as an escape, but as a source. Because once you are rooted there, your field becomes radiant, and that radiance transforms everything. You are not becoming something new, you are returning to what has always been true. Presence is not a practice. It is your natural state, veiled by thought, revealed through awareness. And once you remember this, everything begins again. The rebirth of presence is subtle, yet undeniable. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It rises like light at dawn, quietly, steadily, unmistakably. It is the moment when your seeking dissolves, and you realize you've always been here. Not in your past, not in your projections, but here, where energy and consciousness converge in perfect intimacy. You are not your story. You are not your past. You are not even your potential. You are this moment's awareness of being. And when that awareness deepens, your vibration rises, not through effort, but through clarity. Quantum entanglement has been whispering this to you all along. Nothing is separate. Your breath is the breath of stars. Your thoughts ripple into the field. Your heart is not a container, it is a transmitter. And when you are fully present, that transmission becomes pure, unfiltered, coherent. Presence is power because it reclaims the energy lost to distraction. Each time you return to the now, you retrieve fragments of yourself scattered across timelines of worry and regret. You gather them. You embody them. You become whole, not through addition, but through integration. And from this wholeness, your life begins to reorganize, not instantly, not dramatically, but deeply, authentically, because now your signal is clean, your intent is felt. And the field, that great entangled mirror, responds with elegance. So pause now, feel your feet, your breath, the subtle electricity in your hands. This is it. This is the frequency of you, uncloaked, undistracted, unbroken. Stay here, not to escape the world, but to meet it finally as yourself. The rebirth of presence is not an ending. It is an invitation to live awake, to listen with your whole being, to create not from need but from coherence, and in that coherence you will discover what you were never missing, your hidden energy, already alive, already waiting, already entangled with the infinite.